crept through the cornfield for several hundred yards. Then Aaron decided it was safe enough to venture back onto the highway. I glanced back at the farmhouse behind us, but at this distance I could see no sign of movement. We continued on our journey. I was still pretty disturbed and sickened by what we had witnessed. Dante noticed how shaken I was and gave me a commiserating pat on the shoulder. That happens all the time. You get used to it after a while, if you last around here long enough. If you say so, I muttered. Those things did him a favor. If it hadn't been them, it would have been the shadow lurkers after it got dark. I don't know about you, but if I had a choice, I'd rather go out by the residence than face the lurkers. I didn't respond. Another hour or so passed. Buildings began to appear in the distance. We were about a mile from the next town. A dilapidated gas station / convenience store stood on the outskirts of town. Aaron surveyed it with his binoculars. It looks good, he said. No sign of trouble, but there might be some of them inside. We've got to make sure it's clear. We approached the gas station and snuck behind a pump, peering around the side. Aaron told us to stay put and crept up to the entrance, shotgun raised. He pushed open the door and entered the darkened station. He disappeared from sight. A couple minutes passed. My heart began to race with anxiety. Then, to my relief, he appeared in the doorway and indicated that it was safe. We followed after him and went inside. The interior of the gas station was dark and the air was stale. I had a flash of deja vu, remembering how I had first awakened into this nightmare in a similar gas station. Had that just been yesterday? It already felt like a lifetime ago. We began to look around for anything useful. There wasn't much that would do us any good. All the food was rotted. Not that we needed to eat anyway. There wasn't much else apart from the standard selection of motor oil, car air fresheners, and other automotive accessories. Aaron grabbed a couple 2-gallon plastic gas cans from a shelf. Let's see if those pumps outside have any gas in them, he said, and we followed him back outside. How are we going to get gas if the power's out? I asked him. He gave me a sly smile. Watch and learn. He walked over to a round iron plate set into the concrete parking lot. He crouched down and reached into the back of his pants, removing a pocket knife. He pulled out the blade and used it to pry up the plate. Immediately, the smell of gas hit my nostrils. There was a metal pipe leading straight down into the ground. This goes right into the supply tank under the pumps, Aaron said. He looked to Dante. You got the hose? You bet, Dante said, fishing a length of rubber hose that had been bundled together out of his pants. He tossed the rubber hose, it was about 12 feet long, to Aaron, who uncoiled it and fed one end down into the pipe. He pushed it down till only about 2 feet remained, then sucked forcefully on the other end. He did this several times until he pulled his mouth away sharply, coughing violently, spitting out gasoline. A steady stream of gasoline was now trickling from the hose. Quick, give me one of those cans, he gasped, still coughing. Jeff handed him one and Aaron pushed the hose into it. Dante, stand guard and keep a lookout for trouble, he said. This could take a while. Slowly but surely the gas can filled up. Dante stood watch with his shotgun while we waited. After the first can was full, Aaron repeated the process with the second one. Finally, he was finished. He stood up, stretching. All right, now we got some gasoline. It's 4 gallons, not much, but a good start. You really think we can get that generator going? I asked him. I hope so. I think Clark can get it running. He was a mechanic in his other life. He turned and looked in the direction of town. Okay, let's check out the town. This is where it gets dangerous, so watch your backs. We began to approach the town. Aaron and Dante in the lead, shotguns at the ready, me and Jeff behind them, each of us carrying 1 can of gasoline. We passed a trailer park, then some real houses, a few at first, then more. We were in a small residential area. Up ahead a few blocks was an elementary school. I looked around as we walked, my skin feeling cold and prickly with uneasy dread. The only sounds were the eerie moaning wind and our breathing. There wasn't a sign of life, or death for that matter. I haven't seen a single one of those things since that farmhouse, I whispered to Jeff. Where the hell are they? Most of them are probably inside, he whispered back. Dead folks don't go out very much, unless there's living folks around. Just don't draw any attention to yourself. Keep quiet and walk slowly. We walked by the grade school and its eerily deserted playground. Next, we passed an apartment complex, more houses, the town high school, and a church. We were near the center of town, the business district. There was a shopping center containing a strip mall, a scattering of fast food joints, and a movie theater. And, on the other side of the vast parking lot, a Walmart. Bingo, Aaron said when he spotted the Walmart. We can find everything we need right there. He glanced up at the foreboding gray sky. We've only got a few hours of daylight left. Let's get this over with. We moved across the vacant parking lot to the Walmart. The automatic doors were dead since there was no electricity, but Aaron jimmied them open with a small crowbar he had tucked under his belt. We entered. Aaron took out his flashlight and clicked it on. He pushed the safety off his shotgun. Dante did likewise. We have to make sure this place is safe, he whispered to us. Stay close together. I looked at Jeff and saw fear glistening in his eyes. We set down our gas cans and took out our handguns. The four of us did a careful sweep of the dark store, from one end to the other, Aaron shining his light down the deserted aisles. The place was empty. We were alone. We went back to the front of the store, to the restrooms. One last place to check, Aaron told us. He looked to Dante, who nodded. Raising their shotguns, they stepped first into the men's room, aiming their guns and flashlights around, then did the same in the women's room. They stepped out, lowering their shotguns, visibly relaxing. It's clear, Aaron announced, then grinned. Let's go shopping. First, let's get some packs to carry our stuff in, Dante said. The four of us headed to the sporting goods section, and each of us selected a large camping backpack. All right, Aaron said. Let's move quick so we can get done and get going. We need candles, batteries, kerosene, ammo, and more flashlights. We'd move faster if we split up, Dante suggested. Good thinking. All right, Jeff, you go with Dante to look for candles and batteries. You, he pointed to me, come with me. We split up, Dante and Jeff heading to the other side of the store. I followed Aaron to the hunting and outdoor section. There was a large glass rifle case against the back wall and shelves loaded with boxes of ammunition. Aaron scanned the ammo with his flashlight. Shit, no pistol ammo, but there's plenty of shotgun shells. He glanced at the rifle case. Might as well grab some more shooting irons while we're at it. The cases were locked, but he pried the lock off with his crowbar. He was just reaching in to grab another shotgun when there was a sudden commotion from the other side of the store. A sharp snapping sound like a whip being flicked through the air. Then a cry of pain, followed by a hollow, metallic booming noise. Dante's voice called out to us from across the store. He sounded alarmed. Aaron, get over here, quickly. Home goods. Shit, Aaron said in a shaky voice. Him and me exchanged concerned looks, then raced across the store in the direction of Dante's voice. We could still hear those cries of pain, interspersed with that strange booming sound, like a gong being struck. It kept coming in an infrequent, erratic pattern. We arrived at Home Goods and ran down an aisle towards the glow of Dante's flashlight. He was standing there, looking up at something above him that we couldn't make out in the dark. He turned to us as we reached him, a panicked expression on his face. What the fuck's going on? Aaron demanded. Then, before Dante could answer, he looked around and asked, Where's Jeff? Up here. Jeff's agonized voice called out from above us, startling me and Aaron. We jerked our heads up, and Aaron shined his light. Oh, Christ, Aaron exclaimed in shock. Jeff was dangling from the air about 12 feet above us, spinning around in a slow, lazy circle. He was grimacing in pain, eyes squeezed shut, teeth bared. Get me down, he wailed. It hurts. He thrashed around, struggling to free himself, and there was that metallic booming sound, much louder now that we were right under him. It seemed to reverberate through the store. What the fuck? I said in a disbelieving voice. Aaron raised his flashlight and pointed. Look. I saw. Jeff was hanging from a thin metal wire that was wrapped tightly around one ankle. The wire was sunk deeply into the skin of Jeff's ankle, so deep it was bleeding. Aaron raised the beam of his light, following the wire up to a small hole in the ceiling, where it disappeared from sight. He was walking ahead of me, Dante explained. He stepped into it and it snapped him off his feet and yanked him into the air. It's a trap, Aaron said grimly. Those motherfuckers set a trap. We got to get him down from there, Dante said. Jeff screamed in pain and began to struggle again, causing that booming sound again. Metal clanking against metal. What the fuck is making that sound? Aaron shouted, asking no one in particular. And then realization sank in. I realized what it sounded like. A bell. A big bell. The kind you find in a clock tower or a church steeple. It's a bell, I said, my lips feeling numb, as if they'd been injected with Novocaine. It must be on the roof. Understanding dawned on Aaron's face, followed by horror. He looked to Dante. Stay here with him. Then, without another word, he bolted towards the front of the store, in the direction of the entrance. I was right behind him. We arrived at the entrance and stopped dead, staring through the glass doors at the parking lot outside. I felt my eyes growing wide in their sockets with horror. My heart began to race. Oh my God, Aaron said in a strengthless voice. Oh no. Outside, a horde of walking corpses was approaching the store. Dozens of them. No, hundreds of them.